the Patriotic Front and His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu to walk the talk that what matters is actions, because actions speak louder than words. This is our opportunity to put into demonstration what we have been calling for: lifestyle audits. The fight against corruption will be unrelenting and unwavering, very clear. And me, I have been chairperson for African Parliamentarians Network Against Corruption. I am happy to have a president who is clear about what he wants achieved in that direction. And this is what the president-elect, intends to be able to do, to foster a genuine fight against corruption. Number one, rule of law. We have already talked about it. It's clear. Number two, give financial autonomy to the Anti-Corruption Commission, because we do not want the adage which says you can't bite the finger that feeds you, where the budget of the Anti-Corruption Commission is determined by the executive, the same people who decide and utilize or manage or facilitate utilization of public resources. We want genuine financial autonomy of the Anti-Corruption Commission, and the Anti-Corruption Commission must be funded adequately. Presently, the ACC receives maximum 75% allocation of the budget which is announced at Parliament. Meaning, this 25% budget which is not met goes into inefficiency of the ACC. We are coming to look into that issue. Number three, the ACC workers, they have poor conditions of service. In the last few years, we have lost 56 highly qualified prosecutors and workers of the ACC, joining ZRA, joining RATSA, joining NAPSA, because those entities pay better. We want to redress that situation where wherever you are, you must feel comfortable that you are getting a decent pay, you are working for Zambia. Let each one, wherever they are, feel that what they are getting is enough for them to put effort to work for Mother Zambia, to create a better Zambia. That is what we are looking at, to bring about an end to this high turnover of workers at the Anti-Corruption Commission. We also have a situation, which is issue number 5, that the president-elect intends to address: the cavalier attitude of the judiciary, laissez-faire approach. And I'm saying this with caution because I'm a lawyer. I don't want to be sanctioned by
contempt of court,
by the judiciary, where I belong. But I'm speaking now as a party spokesperson of the incoming government as to what they stand for. We want the judiciary to be free of political interference. We have seen high numbers of acquittals. You create drama. This minister, corruption this, corruption that, corruption this, corruption that, and the public get enthused to say, now the government is acting. Just wait. Go to the judiciary. ACC officer comes to stand before a magistrate. No, Your Honor, we are sorry, we don't have evidence over this case, or not a prosequi, or whatever. That kind of comedy is coming to an end.
Isn't that a lesson to you? I know that you've promised a massive launch Operation Recovery program that is going to target recovering public money that was corruptly obtained, allegedly corruptly obtained. Now, therein lies the risk of targeting political opponents. And the court usually becomes the end of the stick, where they're abused and asked to acquit people, assuming that happens, as you're putting it yourself. This is a game you're likely to play too.
We want to guarantee genuine separation of powers as envisaged by those who crafted a government that it must have 3 arms of government separate from one another: the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, operating independently but overlapping within permissive bounds. That is what we want, nothing else. The judiciary, fortunately, the judiciary that is in place was a number of judges were appointed by the Patriotic Front, a number of magistrates.
Appointed by government?
Yes, under the Patriotic Front government and also the MMD. These are the same judges. They are not PF judges. They are not MMD judges. They are judges for the Republic of Zambia, and we do hope, and this will be the case, that the law will apply as it is. We do not want a system that responds to the executive. When you begin to interfere with the judiciary, when you begin to interfere with systems of governance, you will have temporary pleasure to say, yes, we've got this case the way we wanted it. Yes, we have got this judgment the way we wanted it. Yes, we've got a third term ruling the way we wanted it. The people of Zambia are the final judges. They will give the final verdict, and that verdict is so big, sometimes you don't get to know it. By the time you are knowing about it, you are outside, and you say, Mwamoneni, twalirufyanya palya. We don't want that. The Patriotic Front, how they've gone around governing this country, we don't want to laugh at them. We want to learn from them, because experience is not what you've gone through. It is what you do with what you have experienced, what you've gone through. This is not time to laugh at them. For us, who are in the leadership of the UPND and UPND Alliance, it is time to say, with what our friends made mistakes about, what can we learn from there, so that we don't go around circles and do the same things. So they've given us valuable experiences, though at a greater cost to the nation. The nation has gone through a lot of pain, but that is the cost of choosing a leadership of a particular caliber. We are not saying we are better. We are just like anybody else, but we have been given an opportunity to say, save better. And the president-elect, he has taken note of what is happening at the Anti-Corruption Commission. The commission has gone 3 years without a substantive director general. There is an acting director general for 3 years. The substantive director general, we know her circumstances. She has been indisposed for a while. But a government should have acted in order to shield the confidence of the office holder to take bold decisions, to act decisively to fight corruption. That it shall be done. And as I conclude, my brother, on that score, the president-elect has also, taken note of the issue of having the Anti-Corruption Commission operating autonomously on paper, but when they have a prima facie case against anybody, they now have to go to the Director of Public Prosecutions to seek, a fiat, to seek authority to prosecute. We are looking into that issue. We are coming back to the, stakeholders to request them, if it is possible, to make the Anti-Corruption Commission have autonomy practically, so that if they and them alone have a prima facie case against anybody, they don't need to go to another body to ask for authority to prosecute. We are aware of a heap of dockets residing at the office of the Director of Public Prosecution who have not given authority for the ACC to prosecute. That is undermining the fight against corruption.
We expect some reforms, legal reforms involving the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Definitely. And we will not do it because we want it. We will consult the people, because we want to move with the people. The same way we moved with the people over Bill 10, we are not disillusioned about our victory. It is the people's victory because they trusted us. Now that we have this authority, we don't want to think that it is us. It is the people. We will be consulting even over things that we know and things that we already believe in that they need to be done.
And things over
we want
which you've made decisions already.
Stakeholder buy-in.
Let's look at, I want to take you back. I mean, you spoke about markets and bus stations and trying to clean them up. I know you've done that, moved out a lot of people. The cadres are out. But there's concern there. What do you have in stock for them? This is a huge mass of young people that you've taken out of stations. And there's worry now that these people will start engaging in other vices. They'll start stealing. They have to survive.
Thank you for that very important question. But I'm closing out on corruption. You know, I have an
You have a passion.
I have a passion for this. We are aware of the board at anti-corruption, which is not operating at full strength. There have been resignations of commissioners there. We are coming to put everything in order so that the country can get going in this quest for zero tolerance, you know, against corruption that the president-elect spoke about. Now, you have spoken about bus stops, and I must say we are grateful, you know, as a nation, that the councils have begun to take over, you know, the running of affairs of markets and bus stops. They have moved in. Just on the occasion of the president-elect giving a word. This is what has been missing, leadership. And we have spoken about this for decades, that Zambia's missing link is leadership. The president-elect has answered to the core of the people that they don't want cadarism in public utility places such as bus stops and markets. He has spoken. Those cadres who were patronizing, who were abusing citizens, illegally collecting levies from bus operators, from citizens, they have fled. Where have they fled to? They have gone into areas where they will now have to reflect, now that our source of income, though illegal, has been taken away from us, how do we survive? It comes to where you have pointed. Illicit activities, you know, crime. Now, there is good news. President-elect is aware that those people who were, you know, patronizing bus stops and markets, he did indicate in very clear terms that they are Zambians. He made mention to this, that even for job placement, 2 qualifications. 1, and most importantly, you must be Zambian. Your surname should not matter. Because of who is leading, you think your surname will get you a job or appointment. No. It is citizenship and qualification, competence. It goes down to those who are patronizing bus stops and markets, that they are qualified to have a decent life. They are Zambians. And therefore, we want to ask them not to be afraid of the leadership of HH. We know that they have lived on that for many years. They've taken their children to school. They've been surviving on that. We don't want to just throw them. No, they were PF, let them go and suffer. No. If you look, the reason is this. Why haven't we allowed our own supporters to take over? So the detriment of these people who have been removed from the markets is the same detriment of fate that our supporters who thought they were going to take over the markets are facing. Therefore, we are asking and urging and requesting those who have been displaced from markets and bus stops, and our supporters who thought they would take over the markets, to exercise a bit of patience and allow the president-elect to be sworn in and begin to unpack his economic recovery program and his economic, you know, plan for the country. Therein lies opportunities for job creation. Therein lies opportunities for empowerment of the youth, empowerment of women, to see that instead of people being cadres, donning on regalia, you know, wearing things as if you are a trained, you know, person, militarizing and radicalizing yourself for nothing.
Commanders.
Calling yourselves commanders.
You had commanders as well. You have, actually.
It was the circumstance of the moment. You know, a party that is in power should mirror the state of the nation. It mirrors the democracy. So what they do, people look up to the leadership. This is no, they are commanders in PF. So you also have to
Create some
generate commanders in order
So
to
you have a lot of
to
work
make
to
them
dismantle the
halfway.
commanders, to remodel them into something else.
There, exactly. That is what I was talking about. We need to create opportunities for them. This money that was being dished, out to individuals indiscriminately, you have to bring these young people together into cooperatives and give them something to do. For instance, if you drive on the streets of Lusaka, Kalingalinga, road past ZNBC, you will find that there are young people, there are people there who are involved in metal fabrication, and they are doing it individually. Each one is making a gate here alone. This one is making imbaula. This one is making a bright stand. This one is making a desk. This one is making a bed. Those people have to be put into units as cooperatives, and government should be able to empower them, fund them, so that they become a company. They run as a company, so that instead of being able to bring, say, desks or beds in a hospital from outside, those people are able to manufacture. These are some of the areas where we need to redirect the energies of the young people from political radicalization and violence into productivity, so that they get a decent, work environment, work premises, and that what they do should be beneficial to the nation. Who benefits from violence? Because someone is a cadre and is patronizing a bus stop or a market. Nobody, other than those who are in leadership, who want the nation to be divided, who want, divergent views talking about transparency, views talking about accountability to be suppressed. You use violence so that you continue to enjoy, the luxury of corruption. We are saying no to that. We want the people of this country to hold the leadership accountable. We want, and he has maintained this president-elect. I saw yesterday, I've seen on social media, he met the women executives, those who are chief executives from banks and other parastatals, including, the artists and other, ordinary, women who went to pay a Kete school at his, community house residence. I saw him reiterate his commitment to the people of Zambia, to holding him accountable. He has made mention to what you have just said, say, get a pen and a paper
and start ticking.
A checklist. That is the leadership we want. And for those who have the opportunity to be around him, I'm here to say, we are not going to be bootlickers for HH. None of us is a bootlicker for HH. We are co-leaders with HH. We are there to support him. He is our leader. Hold him accountable, hold us accountable, help us lead this country to a better country that we want.
As you speak about checks and balances, bootlicking and holding him accountable, he mentioned something very important in his interaction with the media. He assured of a free press, very cardinal in a governance system. But I want to put it to you that almost all incoming presidents elected with an absolute majority, like President Hichilema, President Dr. Chiluba, have made this pledge. But along the way, this pledge has never been fulfilled. You will notice that.
Yes, that is correct. And I'm not about to say we are different. We are the same. But we are coming from a background of having to have learned that this is history. And if a history is a bad history, there must be a departure point. This is a departure point. The leadership of HH, this is a departure point. You can see the freedom which is reigning in the country. You can put on PF regalia, you can put on UPND regalia and go anywhere. You can go and cover anybody. A radio station can now be able to give news or interview to anyone. No one is coming to shut down. No DC is going to walk to come and say, what are you doing here? Can you stop this program?
Is it because DCs
Nothing.
have not been appointed yet?
I'll leave that to the president-elect.
Is it because there's no information minister yet?
I'm going to leave that to the president-elect because he promised a lean government. Remember? He promised a lean government. So some of these...
But usually people would tell you that the president does not even get involved in the lower organs that muzzle the media.
Yes, indeed, and I do agree. And that's why we are saying those who are coming to save with HH, they must be leaders, not bootlickers. And leaders will know that our leader has to be helped by making the right choices and decisions in order that his legacy should be enduring on the promises he made to the people of this country, the basis upon which the people gave him a landmark, vote. And I am here to commit as party spokesperson of the UPND, and of course speaking on the behalf of the UPND Alliance. For the first time, maybe not really the first, the media will have their space. We do recognize that the media is the fourth estate in any functioning democracy. The moment you begin to trample on media freedoms, then you get it wrong. Because, like it has happened in the last 5 years, trample on the media, you close down the views of the people, you shut down the voices of the people. You can't hear what the people are saying. You only hear it through the ballot. By that time, you're out. We don't want to go that route. But still with the media, Grivasio, we as UPND and UPND Alliance, the president-elect has a vision for the media. He is a businessman. Yesterday, he told those women executives that I'm not a typical politician. I'm a businessman. I'm a missionary. I have a mission for this country. He has a mission for the media. He wants to transform the way the media operates in this country, make the media become, become a business. Look at ZNBC. Look at Zanis. Zanis has a staffer all over the country, with cameras, with equipment, studios in Sorwezi, in Chipata, everywhere. What are those studios doing? This Zuba kind of soap opera we watch on DSTV, can't Zanis do that? Can't ZNBC open a channel which will be promoting the film industry, in the process make it a business by having adverts come through that line? Why should we be paying an outsider money which we should have been paying our local institutions? That is the vision of HH. These institutions that have been obsolete and dormant, they are coming to act now as a business to generate revenue for themselves.
Your commitments on media, rest assured that we'll keep them. Maybe we'll play them when you start changing. When we see that you're digressing, we'll play that again. We'll play your clip.
I have said
to remind you.
I have said that we have remained in the opposition for 22 years because of honesty, because of sincerity, because of standing for truth and not appeasement.
Now,
I don't think that HH will change. If he does change, the people of Zambia will also change. They will stop supporting him and remove him from office. That's what the people of Zambia stand for.
Numbers in parliament.
And I can also say this at this particular moment. The international community is very happy with what has happened. Just like the jubilation and ululation and euphoria that has engulfed the nation. Joy at last. The international community, I'm aware, is even taking Zambia as a case study to say there is a government that was heavy-handed, oppressing citizens, abusing police to stifle freedoms of people. Out there, if you did an opinion poll in the international community, people thought that government would not change because this government was so brutal. So they are wondering, how have you managed it as Zambia? Zambia has managed it because we don't have a tradition of having a leadership coming through the bullet. We always have a leadership coming through the ballot.
Zambia is a peaceful
That is a difference.
We're almost running out of time, Honorable Mweetwa, but I want to ask you something. There are a lot of expectations from the public and from people. What do we expect that the president will deal with first?
Well,
as he's sworn in on Tuesday.
As the president gets sworn in on Tuesday, he has to carry on from where he has already begun as president-elect. There are a lot of expectations out there. This huge mandate speaks to the volume of expectations. Many. Number one expectation of the people of Zambia is the economy. The economy, the issue of debt, the issue of the kwacha-dollar relationship. I'm happy, like everyone is now. I met someone yesterday who told me, I can't believe this. Is this magic? The kwacha is now trading at 15 kwacha. But it is on this platform where we were telling people, and HH was saying, the moment we win, we are sown at 10, by 14 hours, the dollar will begin to tumble. And people are saying, no, he's lying. No, that's how business works. Business sentiments, they begin to react to a regime which they know is bringing business regulation stability.
So
And also
currently
political
the gain
stability.
is based on sentiment and which may wane at some point.
Of course, it will wane if the leadership does not do what is right. So that is number one. The kwacha is now 15 kwacha. That is response to. And I can tell you also, and the nation, for the very first time in Zambia's history, the Brentwood institutions, the IMF, the World Bank, are sending representatives to come and be part of the inauguration of Zambia's 7th president, HH. That's happening for the first time. That is the confidence the business and market industry has in this administration. And I don't want to be overarching about it. The leadership will have to be sober and humble about it. We have to harness this goodwill and use it to the benefit of the people of this country. So that is issue number one. Number two, around the same issue of the economy, is the issue of the unsustainable debt. We are coming in first to do a forensic audit, to create integrity of numbers, to find out whether what we have been told over years that Zambia owes is really what we owe. Because sometimes these debts, as you know, the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia, prescribes that to acquire an international debt, Parliament must be able to ratify. But despite that provision, in the last 5 years, our colleagues have refused to actualize that. They have continued to procure debt in secrecy, violating the Constitution of the Republic. But I must be honest about that. It's not really violation, because they had not actualized the provisions that would make the Constitution, be able to operate. And they did it deliberate, so that they continue to procure debt without the authority and ratification of Parliament. So we don't know which debt really Zambia got, and we built a road, we built a toll gate, we built a hospital, we built a school, or a debt was gotten and people shared the money. So integrity of numbers through forensic, audit. Once you have that integrity of numbers, you are now able to say, oh, okay, so what we owe is this. What we owe this company is this. Now you know who your genuine creditors are. You are now able to call them to a round table and be able to say, well, this is what we owe. This is our predicament. This is our situation. Can we be able to meet each other halfway for a win-win situation? Can we hedge off some of this debt so that instead of you getting nothing by way of us defaulting, at least you get something? Those creditors, I'm sure they are happy. They have a businessman. They have a negotiator in HH. They should be able to get something out of the debt which Zambia had begun to default. Let me leave that and quickly move on. The expectations, the economy, number one. That is the full package. The president will unpack it. We have
you need to wind up very quickly.
Yes,
Number two. I think
yes.
I'll give you 1 minute. Or
we
less.
have low-hanging fruits in this harvest by the people of this country. One, end political violence. It has already begun to happen. Everyone is free in Zambia now, free at last. End political violence, end political cadreism, cadres storming ZNBC, cadres storming ministries, cadres poking police officers. It's coming to an end. Political impunity. People speaking as though they were not elected. We shall be here until 2050. We shall be here until 2060. I'm here to say UPND is here up to 2026. And dependent on how we behave, how we deliver, how we use this mandate, the people of Zambia have the right to remove us in 2026. So what we shall do depends on the will of the people again to decide to give us another, mandate. The issue of unemployment, all those will come through the package of the president. The low-hanging fruits, these that have plagued the people of this country, they will be delivered once the president is elected.
Is sworn in, takes oath on Tuesday. Honorable Mweetwa, it's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much. We want to thank
We'll call you again to hold you to what you've promised today.
Thank you. We're happy for that.
You've been watching Sunday Interview, and our guest this evening was the UPND spokesperson, Mr. Cornelius Mweetwa. We'll be back next week sometime. Pleasant viewing.
One Zambia, one nation.
Every mom needs a perfect sidekick. For me, that sidekick is Soft Care. Soft Care really